Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. This is Bayou Breakdown. We're joined, as always, by Jack Tiernan. Jack, how you doing?
Good, Brian. I love the name Bayou Breakdown. It really just rolls off the tongue.
It really
Big
is
fan.
one of
Big
the
fan.
best things that we've done,
I
is
agree.
naming this segment. And, yeah, so we didn't plan this, but I got the black, you got the gold on. We're talking some
Yeah.
Saints, your favorite teams. So I think the first thing we got to talk about is Jameis Winston, named the starter. What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm pumped. In our last Bayou Breakdown, we both predicted this. I think
Yes.
we both said this would be the better choice for Sean Payton in the current Saints roster. Taysom Hill, I think he's a halfway decent quarterback. I don't think he's a bona fide long-term NFL starter solution at the quarterback position. Definitely a gimmick dude, and he does that really, really well. I would say probably the best in the league at it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's like a long-term solution. So, and I don't think you did either, right? I think we're pretty much on the same page. Yeah.
No, God. I've been like a Taysom Hill hater for like so long. Like everyone,
that
like
hurts.
when he came in, not like alright, so I think he's a fun player.
Yeah.
I just think like the announcers just like jerk him off so hard
I
all the
completely agree.
time. It's like, wow, he plays on the punt team. He does everything. He's a competitor, and it's like that's cool and that's great. Like I agree, that's all really neat that a quarterback does all this. But to think that the fact that he's versatile enough to fill in on other like roster spots translates to him being like a good professional quarterback. I never saw that connection.
No.
Like
No.
I was like, he's like a better Tim Tebow if Tim Tebow
Right.
swallowed his ego before he turned 34 and tried to play other positions. But no, like I honestly think like if he had been named the starter, it would have been 100% based on Sean Payton's vanity rather than the reality
Completely agree.
of
Yep.
like the talent of the two players involved. Like I will say right now I expect Jameis Winston to be a Pro Bowl level quarterback with Sean Payton as the
Yeah.
coach. So
I agree, and I think that's interesting. I think you say that even with a depleted receiving core, and I hope you're correct for my own personal needs here. But
Right.
I think you're right, man. I think looking at him even in the preseason, like he's connected with these dudes. Was his whole plan was to come in here for a year for $1 million salary as a backup and learn from Drew Brees, and he did that. And let's see if he can put it to good use. Oh, and get LASIK, right? So now he can see his receivers.
that helps.
But
that always helps.
That does
But
help.
yeah, it was like so Jameis Winston has all the talent in the world. I don't think anyone would debate that. Like he was the first overall pick for a reason because he's a supremely talented quarterback, and
Of course.
his big thing was just not making good decisions, and that really came to a head in Bruce Arians' offense. That is a lot of like standing in the pocket, trying to make big plays, trying to make big throws, led to a lot of interceptions, which isn't rare. Like when Carson Palmer, Andrew Luck, Big Ben, when they played in Bruce Arians' offenses, they all also got sacked a lot and threw a lot of
Yeah.
interceptions. They didn't throw 30 interceptions, I'll give you that. But I think it was a lot of him trying to play hero ball and a lot of him trying to, make up for what was like missing in terms of the scheme gelling correctly. And we only saw him play for 1 year. So now he's in Sean Payton's offense. And I think Sean Payton is probably one of the best offensive minds in the game. People forget that. Drew Brees is an amazing quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. But it was the marriage of Drew Brees and Sean Payton that made Drew Brees, right?
Totally agreed. Completely agreed. I mean, he was a decent quarterback when he started his career in San Diego, right? And then he had that freak injury, and Sean Payton was like, "Yeah, we'll take a bet on this guy," and it paid off. So it's like you said, it's a good marriage, and let's see if we can recreate something a little bit different, probably cut from the same cloth, but with
Right.
Jameis Winston and Sean Payton.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily concerned about the like on paper lack of receiving talent because obviously it was Drew Brees also, but the Saints have consistently turned out like high quality receivers. Like you go Marquez Callaway, he was undrafted and became
what a
like
joke.
one of the most underrated receivers of his era. You have Brandon Cooks, who when he was on the Saints was one of the best. Kenny Stills, who I think he's a decent receiver, but he was probably at his best with the Saints, even though he was a former Dolphin. But and now Michael Thomas is the most recent, and there are probably a million other people that as a Saints fan that I didn't name that are like pretty great on the Saints.
Yeah, man. I mean, even just thinking about that we have a second year tight end, or maybe it's third year. I'm pretty sure it's second year. His name is Adam Troutman, right? He, I think, is going to step up into what Jared Cook was doing last year.
Right.
And I don't want to really come to this, but maybe with Jimmy Graham, like close to that level of production. People liked him a lot when he was drafted. He's done a lot of good blocking stuff on the field. And now it's just, I guess it's time to see if he can convert and make some plays on the offensive side as a pass catching weapon.
I mean, Jimmy Graham's another one, right? Like, he had his best years in New Orleans.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, by far.
He bounced around after that, right? He went to Seattle in the...
so they traded a lot for, like, him, like a center, I think, and, like, some picks. And he was
I'm trying to think of the center's name, but yeah.
Yeah, he was fine in Seattle.
He was...
But not Saints Jimmy Graham, that's for sure.
No. And you have to say that's probably from Sean Payton, like you said. I'm not saying Pete Carroll's not a good offensive mind, but run the ball, Pete.
I'll say it. He's not a good offensive mind.
No, he's not. And then Jimmy Graham went to Green Bay, and then he's with Chicago. He's old now, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, he definitely, his best years were on the Saints. With the talk of Taysom Hill and Jimmy though, or not? Yeah, I guess Jimmy. It'll be interesting to see if Peyton runs any 2 tight end sets with Taysom out there as a tight end, because that's typically what he would play on offense as like a receiving threat.
Right.
With Troutman, and I'm just thinking of this now. So there are a lot of possibilities with Taysom, of course, and all these other offensive guys coming to mind. Marquez Callaway also is a name to look out for. He was undrafted as well, and the Saints picked him up, and he made some shoestring catches in the preseason, man. He looked electric out there. And he and Jameis have that connection. So I think it'll be really interesting to watch that without Michael Thomas for the first, at least 6 weeks, I believe it was. So could be really cool to see.
It's a tough situation, obviously, with Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
We covered that in the last episode. Hopefully there's no more drama on the way. Hopefully it's just kind of like we'll see what happens. We'll see him on the field sooner than later. But you never know with him.
No, he's kind of an enigma. It seems like he and Peyton buried the hatchet. I think that was a couple weeks ago, and we probably talked about that as well. So I'm hoping he comes back and is just even like 50% of what we had as in him as a receiver like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, because he caught, like 150 receptions a couple
years ago?
Some
stupid amount, yeah. I think it was 150 or just over it, right? It was a very... very impressive amount, and that kind of comes from the efficiency of Drew Brees and Sean Payton's offensive scheme. But he fits into that scheme really well, and he just needs to keep his ego in check. That's his biggest enemy at this point.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to their matchup with the Packers. Last year, that was an amazing game, right? Probably one of the best games of the season.
I agree.
What are you expecting out of this year's matchup? It's going to be in the Dome. Oh, no, it is not. It's going to be in Jacksonville.
Not this year.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the hurricane,
home game, right?
Yeah, we're missing out on the early Dome games for the Saints, and I don't think we know necessarily when they're going to be able to get back there, right?
No, I don't think so. I think probably, I would say, I've seen some reports that said like 3 or 4 weeks probably. Yeah. So, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe after the bye. We have a week 5 bye, I believe.
So, yeah, we're going to be in Jacksonville instead. So, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I think it'll be interesting because you have Aaron Rodgers coming in, a very disgruntled Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Really, both of these teams are technically playing an away game in reality.
Yes.
It's kind of going to be, I don't think there's the benefit of being in the Caesars Superdome. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not the Mercedes-Benz anymore.
Got to catch myf. That's going to take take a bit.
That's like the Falcons sponsor now, right? Like
I think so.
Yeah. Atlanta,
which is also a dome.
Betrayal. That's just rude.
That's okay. The Falcons are bad, so they can have him. It's fine. I think you're right. I think with Aaron Rodgers, though, I think it'll be interesting to see him come in again, disgruntled Aaron Rodgers. He's got Devontae Adams, and he's got his good old boy Randall Cobb back.
That's true.
So I think that'll be a good offensive scheme. I think the Saints' defense I think the Saints secondary particularly has gone down a little bit. I don't really know what that's going to look like right now. I think Aaron Rodgers will be able to pick it apart because he's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And this is the first game of their season, so it'll be cool to see how they gel, if they mesh together well or not. But I mean, if anybody can pick that apart, it's probably Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. So I have to hope that D-line gets pressure on Rodgers quick. As for the offense, I mean, you have Jameis Winston, who's able to ball it out pretty quickly, or if he needs to dump it off to Kamara or rush with Kamara, right?
Yes.
You're probably going to be okay. So if the offense can stay on the field, this is always the key, right? If the offense can stay on the field for a long amount of time, put together some really good drives, it's gonna be a good game,
Right.
for sure, 100%. I can't wait to watch it. It's gonna be probably a ball fest, like Aaron Rodgers and Jameis Winston absolutely balling out. I hope.
It won't be quite as good as it would be in the dome, where it's just perfect weather all the time. So some real barn burners always there. But so all right. Give me a prediction here, Jack. What are you thinking?
Oh God, man, I really want to say the Saints win. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna run with it. I'm gonna ride with that. I'm gonna say 31-24 Saints.
There we go. I love to hear that. I think it's fun because I picked the Dolphins in my Patriots Dolphins preview too. It's week 1. We all have a bunch of optimism. I fully expect Chad to pick the Patriots over the Dolphins when we do our segment later this week. So I love that. Lock it in. Saints 31, Packers 24 in
We're locked in.
All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we get on out of here for Bayou Breakdown?
Don't think so. Oh, I do want to touch on strength of schedule real quick, right?
Okay,
so the Saints right now, I would say probably just around middle of the pack, towards the easier side of the strength of schedule. But a lot of their divisional rivals are even easier schedules. I think the Falcons have the second easiest schedule, and then the Bucks are somewhere in the top 10 easiest. So I think, in fairness, Bucks probably win the division again. And I think Saints maybe have a shot at getting into the playoffs. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. That NFC wildcard game will be interesting. But
yeah. So I believe this year we have 3 wildcard teams. Only the number 1 seed gets the bye. Number 2 seed has to play in the first week. So that will be interesting. I think in that scenario, I don't think the NFC is particularly stacked. And I think the AFC is fucking bloodbath. I don't know.
Oh God, yeah.
It's gonna be probably a team that wins 11 games is still gonna miss the playoffs. Which is insane. In the AFC, or at least 10, like the Dolphins last year. So
right, yeah, that
that's
sucks.
Gonna suck.
Sorry,
I think, I'm used to it. It's fine. Heartbreak is no stranger to me as a Dolphins fan. But I think the Saints are in a good position to at least get one of the wild card spots.
I'm hoping.
This year.
Yeah.
And like you said, their strength of schedule isn't too bad. They're in the NFC. I think the Falcons are going to fucking suck this year.
They all
personally do. I don't believe Sam Darnold's going to be that great either. You should at least be able to split the season series with Carolina at the worst.
At least.
Yeah,
right.
And then, hopefully you can steal a game if you have the home game from Tampa Bay. Although the Saints, other than the playoff game, in the regular season, the Saints fucking had the Buccaneers number last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady in the playoffs is a completely different animal.
He's an animal, yeah.
What can you say about that? But I think you have reason to be optimistic, especially if Jameis Winston plays as well as we're expecting him to.
Yeah, I completely agree, dude. I think Jameis had one down year, and that was in Bruce Arians' offense, ironically. People were really quick to forget that he did put up some decent numbers as a rookie, and even he was Pro Bowl as a rookie, was he not?
I believe so. He definitely.
I'm pretty sure.
One Pro Bowl, so I think.
Yeah, at least.
I think
he's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
I think in this offense,
questionable person sometimes, but
yeah, off the field I don't love him, but we will leave it at that. Exactly. So I think as a quarterback I'm looking forward to this. I think this is exciting. There is definitely optimism, cautious optimism, but we'll see what the famous Jameis can do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jack, where can they find you online?
Yeah, Brian. So you guys can find me on Twitter at Jack_Tiernan. I'll have NFL takes. I've got NBA takes. I've got them all. So they'll be posted on there pretty frequently.
So go find him there. You can follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. This BMARR. You can follow the channel on Twitter at WickedGoodSport or at WG Everything. Instagram Wicked Good Everything. Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Everything. And on TikTok, search Wicked Good Everything. This is Try that again. This has been Bayou Breakdown. Too many B's. Trip me up. Jack, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you in the next one.